Welcome back to the Uncover Medieval, your quiet corner for the forgotten truths of history. If you're here to explore the emotional, the raw, and the human side of our distant past, you're in the right place. Tonight, we're going to take a step back into a world without medicine, without answers, and sometimes without hope. A world where losing a child wasn't rare, it was expected. So, settle in. Take a breath. Let the candle of history flicker before you as we quietly unfold what it was like to lose a child in medieval times. The room was quiet, too quiet. You could hear the fire cracking and the breath of the child, short and labored. She had held him all night, feverish, twitching, his skin hot like flame, then cold like river stone. There were no doctors, only the village herb woman, who gave her a bundle of rosemary and hope. She had no idea what was wrong. In medieval times, most parents didn't. 1 out of every 3 children died before the age of 5. Imagine that for a moment. You name them, you nurse them, you sing to them, and still, you know, deep down, you know they might not live past spring. Plague, fever, bad milk, coughing fits, bleeding gums, a swollen belly, a fly bite. God's will. Everything could kill a child. Parents turned to God because there was nowhere else to turn. They prayed to saints who were mothers. They walked barefoot to shrines. They made oaths. Some believed the illness was punishment for a hidden sin. Some believed it was witchcraft. Some just cried until they couldn't anymore. And when the child's breathing stopped, the silence in that room was deafening. There were no undertakers, no funeral homes, no pastel urns or engraved stones. You wrapped the child in cloth. Maybe a little toy or a cross was placed beside them. You carried them, with your own arms, to the churchyard. Some were buried in unmarked plots, some near the wall, where it was said angels watched over children. And the mother? She returned home to an empty cradle, to silence, to her own heartbeat pounding in a hollow chest. There was no word for grieving parent. Not in Latin, not in Old English, not in French. Society expected her to move on, to have another child, to accept God's will. But grief is ancient. She still felt her milk come in days later. Her arms ached to hold someone who wasn't there. She heard phantom cries in her sleep. Fathers grieved too, but many did it with their hands. They built small wooden coffins, chopped firewood with too much force, drank in silence, prayed with calloused fingers. He would not cry in public. He would kneel beside the cradle when no one was watching. And when his wife wept, he wrapped his arms around her, like a shield against a world that gave no mercy. Zuisang, some parents had 8, 10, even 12 children, but they remembered every single one they lost. They planted flowers over graves. They whispered names during storms. They wove those children into lullabies for the living. And sometimes they smiled again. But the ache never left. Lansan, Sailan, Orun, Hi, Handren, Ore, Pesis. So tonight, when you hold your own child close or remember the ones you've lost, know this. Grief has no century, love has no expiration, and even in a world of wooden cradles and stone floors, the human heart beat the same, fragile, fierce, and full of feeling. But the century call is variable, a rind. Thank you for joining Echoes of the Past. If this touched your heart, leave a candle emoji in the comments. Subscribe for more quiet, human stories from the pages history left behind. Good night.